It is 11:57 p.m. on a Sunday night. You have a massive project due at 9 a.m. tomorrow, a project you have known about for 6 weeks. And right now, you are sitting at your desk, the cursor is blinking on a blank document, and your entire body is radiating a level of existential panic that could power a small city. You are currently trapped in the deadliest loop known to modern productivity, the procrastination helix. You aren't lazy. You are currently participating in a high-stakes internal negotiation where the you that wants success is being held hostage by the you that is absolutely terrified of failure. This isn't a performance of poor time management, it's a failure of emotional regulation. But if you look closely at that panic, a strange thing starts to happen. As that 9 a.m. deadline gets closer, the noise in your head finally stops. The distraction fades, the paralysis lifts, and for the next 9 hours, you will work with a kind of lethal, adrenaline-fueled focus that you simply cannot access under normal circumstances. You are a last-minute artist, a specialized psychological operator who needs the gun to your head just to pull the trigger. Before we peel back the layers of this dangerous, brilliant machinery, I want to ask the Council of Truth in the comments. What is the single biggest, most important thing you are currently avoiding? When did your internal architecture decide that the freeze response was safer than the start button? Let's keep this dialogue honest, because this is where we stop performing perfectly productive and start looking at the mechanics of why we are so often broken. To understand the last-minute artist, we have to look at the performance script we are all handed by society. The script is simple. Input equals output. If you manage your time, you are good. If you procrastinate, you are bad, lazy, and broken. The tribe looks at your avoidance and pathologizes it. They try to sell you a new calendar app or a 15-minute productivity hack, as if a complicated psychological program could be solved by a digital post-it note. This failure to understand the procrastination architecture is where the confusion starts. Procrastination isn't a problem with time. It is a profound problem with emotion. It is the freeze response of the modern mind. The chronic procrastinator isn't standard issue lazy. The truly lazy man doesn't actually care if the project gets done or not. He just wants to rest. The procrastinator, however, cares so much that the pressure of it paralyzes him. Procrastination is the logical conclusion of the perfectionism paradox. If you are a perfectionist, your self-worth engine is external. Your value as a human being is tied directly to the quality of your output. If you are working on a project that you know is critical for your legacy, the cost of failure feels terminal. Your brain looks at that blinking cursor and doesn't see work. It sees a review of my worthiness to exist. And because you can't face that terminal failure, your internal architecture starts to run the procrastination security protocol. This protocol is designed to keep you safe from rejection. It tells you, it's too soon to start. You need to research more. The context isn't right yet. It transforms avoidance into a strategic virtue. You aren't hiding, you are simulating readiness. But this strategy has a major problem. It doesn't actually remove the pressure. It just concentrates it into a final, lethal window. This creates the adrenaline illusion. The last-minute artist doesn't procrastinate because he likes it. He procrastinates because he has found a dangerous shortcut to sovereignty. In that 3 a.m. window, when the deadline is no longer a suggestion but a hostile force, the fear of the tribe wound, rejection, failure, being exposed as a fraud, finally becomes stronger than the fear of starting. Suddenly, the self-worth engine is overridden by the survival mode protocol. In survival mode, the perfectionist is allowed to switch to utility mode. You are no longer trying to write the greatest thing ever. You are just trying to make it to the next day. In this window, the quality isn't the priority. Survival is. The resulting adrenaline-fueled rush of production feels brilliant. It's what I call tactical genius by default. You operate with a precision you simply can't find when you are overthinking. For those 9 hours, you are a master of pattern recognition, a social engineer who can read the social cues needed for the project, and a sovereign mind who has exited the assembly line of performance. You got it done, and you got it done under impossible pressure. You are, for a moment, the alpha utility of your own life. But the counsel of truth does not stop at the easy victory. We have to look at the shadow. If you are a procrastinator, you aren't just an efficient operator. You are running a dark triad of behaviors on yourself. You are treating yourself with cold Machiavellianism, which is using your body's emergency adrenaline reserves to fuel a performance the system demanded. Avoidance of intimacy, which is using the urgency of the task to avoid deeper, more terrifying long-term goals that might require real vulnerability. And hidden inauthenticity, which is the work you produce under that pressure, while functional, is rarely your best work. It's just the most plausible performance of competent work you could manage in the final hour. This adrenaline loop is a toxic currency. Every time you rely on it, you are training your brain that the only time you are valuable is when you are on fire. You are conditioning yourself to only access your potential when you are in a state of existential panic. This is not a sustainable architectural plan. This is a slow-motion collapse. The inverse mind perspective is that you aren't just putting off work. You are putting off yourself. The things you procrastinate on are rarely random. You don't procrastinate on watching Netflix or taking a nap. You procrastinate on the things that are critical for your growth, the things that might force you to face the glitch in your mind that says you aren't actually ready to innovate. Procrastination is the mask you wear to protect the lie that you are still getting ready to build something real. True sovereignty is when you can walk into that 11:57 p.m. window on your own terms, not because you have to, but because you want to. It is integration. It is taking the parts of yourself that the tribe told you were wrong, your anxiety, your perfectionism, your unique wiring, and making them the center of your new world. Your unique wiring, your outsider's edge, isn't a liability. It is an elite upgrade. The anxiety that paralyzes you is actually a massive generator of energy, but you are still wired to see it as a threat. A true architect doesn't try to remove the friction. He uses it as the very force to generate innovation. He understands that friction isn't something to fear. It is how you know you are finally real. We have to move past the lone wolf act of the last-minute artist. The real challenge is the sovereign architecture of starting. The fog lifts and the strings snap when you realize that starting is a political act. It is you saying, "My unique perspective on this social architecture is valid, even if it is imperfect. I am allowed to be part of a long lineage of innovators and high-functioning outsiders who change the world from the outside looking in." You don't need to dominate the time, and you don't need to follow the tribe's schedule. You need to be real. You need to leverage your pattern recognition not to save a project at the final second, but to build a business that operates on your own non-negotiable terms. You need to trade the perfectionist performance for the cold precision of your own internal compass. We read every comment on this channel because this is where the performance stops and the mechanics begin. To the procrastinators, you are part of the council of truth. Your battle isn't with time. It's with a society that demands you perform perfection, rather than embrace the friction of who you are. Stop waiting for the fire to save you, because you are the only one with the blueprints to the exit. I'm David. This is the truth underneath the panic. I'll see you in the next one.